Welcome back to Highland Spring Farm. Today we are out on what was last year's sweet corn field, and we are planting it into our cover crops. So cover crops are a crop that isn't a cash crop. It's not raised for the specific purpose of that crop, but rather is a way of making sure that the soil is covered. It's a way of improving the soil, whether it's improving the soil structure, trying to find plants that have really deep tap roots that go all the way down, and try to break up the hard pan that occurs during tillage, or perhaps they're a crop that allows us to graze animals, which is one of the varieties that we're doing here. We are planting an 18-way mix, which means there's 18 different species in this cover crop, which is probably the most diversity that we've ever planted in a cover crop. So when we look in this seed box, there are oats in here. There's sorghum, millet, peas, a couple different types of peas, sunflowers, which will be really exciting to see how those turn out. But this is by far some of the most beautiful seed mix that we've ever planted. So really looking forward to seeing how this all works. Yesterday we spent quite a bit of time trying to calibrate those seed boxes and the drills so that we could figure out exactly the right seeding rate for what we've got going on, and now we are ready to put it in the ground. So it's going to be a really hot one today, and so we're trying to get this in. We are expecting rain tomorrow, so if we can get all of this done today, that would be really fantastic. In the last video, this is the field that we did some tillage on, trying to smooth it out and knock down some of the weeds. As you can see, it really kind of worked, but there's definitely plenty of weeds out there. And then over on the other side of the lane is what is new pasture for us, and so that's coming along really nicely, and we're hoping to be able to graze some of the animals out here in the next couple of days. You never know what you might find in the field. And with the baseball field just on the other side of that tree line, we end up with quite a few softballs and baseballs in the field. Another one. getting low on seed now, but just a little bit left. So I think we should be able to make it. Finishing up planting along the sweet corn here, and right in my way are two of the brand new calves. This is 181, and this one is 182. Both born yesterday, right before it was about to get really hot. Just relaxing in the shade. Let's go, buddy. Come on. Let's get back to mom. Come on, little one. Well, you can't stay here. You gotta go back. The other calf is the big shorthorns calf. He needs to run back too. Back she goes with her mama. Two heifer calves born yesterday. One was expected. This big cow is a shorthorn, so this is a half shorthorn, half Highland. And for the first time, our vet was able to actually tell us if it was a heifer calf or a bull calf. So that was kind of fun to see how that worked out as well. That's going to do it for planting the cover crops. Got all 25 acres done, which is great. And now I'm just kind of hitting the pasture in a couple spots where there's some bare dirt, either from bale grazing or perhaps from the water where we keep our water tanks. Sometimes those areas get a little bit flooded up and along some new fence lines. So just trying to hit those to get a little bit of cover in there. It may or may not work, but it's just nice to try to hit those and get those a little bit of seed in the ground there in hopes that something grows. Well, it's great to get all of that planting done. It's been a process to get everything done with the weather and everything else that we had going on in that field. So happy to get all that planting done. Since it's such a beautiful day and hot, we're going to start cutting hay. So get the hay vine hooked up and get that going, and hopefully everything works as expected. So we've got our disc vine hooked up. It's a New Holland disc vine, and this machine both cuts the hay, and then there's some rollers in the back, and that presses the hay. Everything runs through it, and that really kind of breaks up those cells to help accelerate the drying process. We'll set our windrow, which is what the hay or the row that comes out of the back of the hay vine. We'll set that really wide so that we can get a real nice even dry down on everything. And we'll set that wide and then let the sun and the weather do its work. We're expecting temperatures in the 90s and upper 80s this week, so we should be able to dry this hay down really quickly and should make real nice feed come winter. We are all hooked up, so we're ready to head down the road to where the field is in order to start cutting and making sure this machine works. On this hay mower, there are some wings in the back that help set the width of the windrow. And so we want these windrows to be as wide as possible, so we'll open those up and then set those pins in there stationary so that they don't move. And then we set this already on the lowest setting, so that's good to go. And we don't have to worry about making sure that we have a harder time getting it dry. The bigger the windrow, the easier it is for us to get this hay dry as fast as possible. So as you can see, this grass is no joke. It's quite tall, almost shoulder tall on me, which is really nice. It's all seeded out, unfortunately, but that's just kind of in the nature of our spring. We weren't able to get it done quite as early as we wanted to. So we've got our hay mower all set up. In here is what I was talking about earlier, are those rollers. The hay all comes through there, and that helps crimp it and make it a little bit easier to dry. Makes drying a little bit faster. It's a beautiful, hot, sunny day. Really nice wind, as I'm sure you can hear. So let's get haying. Cutting, and it's working great. So essentially the deal is with this hay mower is that as long as I can stay in the seat, this mower will be able to keep up with what we're doing. This vine is something that we upgraded to a couple years ago, and it's really made life quite a lot better for us. So nice thick stand. Things look like they're pretty good out here, which is good. This is a hay field that we've cut in the last couple of years for a neighbor, and they don't need the hay this year, so we're going to take it for the cattle. It'll be something that we'll use for our animals, and it should be real nice for us. The opening rounds on the hayfield done, which I think is probably all we'll do for today. There's a slight chance of rain tomorrow, and we just want to make sure that we get the hayfield open and everything's working. You never know after it sits all winter what might be broken and what might be working. Well, it's good to have that hayfield all cut and done. We've got 4 other fields that we still need to cut. But we're going to hedge our bets and wait until after the predicted rain here later this week. And then hopefully we should have a good stretch of hot, dry weather. So that'll be good to get all that done. First cutting is always a difficult one. One thing that's kind of evident when we're driving down our road is that's a field that's planted into conventional crops. That looks like soybeans this year, was corn last year. And then over on our side of the road, just how green it is, having a permanent cover on it all year round. That's going to do it for today's video. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.